Right on.
All right, right on indeed. Welcome to Belonging Songs. It's your podcast that brings you a brand new original song with each episode, and then we talk about the theme of that song and the processes that went into writing and recording it and all the changes we make along the way. Today, I'm coming at you from Chad's living room, so that means Chad is here with us.
Hello.
Welcome, Chad, and also Brad. And we're here because we're going to throw down some jamming a little bit later, which lends to a good opportunity to do some podcasting. On this, the last instrumental song of Season 3, and it's called Destination End. And I always say that these instrumental songs, the titles mean nothing. But this one, actually, there is a reason that it is called what it's called, because Chad and I were in a band in high school called Abhor, and it was really bad. And we had a song called Destination. And like I've mentioned in previous versions of these instrumental episodes, some of the parts of that original band got absorbed into this project for the band I'm in. Like we would take little snippets of songs and reincorporate them into these songs. So the very end of this song is the song called Destination, if any of that makes sense. Because the song Destination in our first band was just two parts repeated over and over and over again until the guy who was singing, our friend Mike, was just done singing, and then we would end. I don't think any of the songs ever were like formed with a beginning, middle, and end.
So this isn't the end of Destination.
No, but
The end is Destination.
right. So this song's called Destination End because it ends with that riff.
Wrap your head around that.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah. The only lyrics I can remember from that song were Destination, it's where you go. I'll bury you in a 6-foot hole. Destination. Now this was, we were in high school.
Yeah,
So those lyrics aren't going to show up in this version.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's the destination end.
Right. It was a part we would play so fast that I could never keep up. Everybody will hear it at the end.
Got it.
Yeah. Other fun little facts about this song. Chad used to do a drum solo in it.
He did.
Did I?
Yeah. And I think the version I have here is where that originated from, because you can hear you say something in the tape, and I've got it queued up here. So we're listening to one of Chad's maybe first drum solo on this song.
I still don't solo a lot.
No, you don't.
I don't.
The song would kind of just fall apart, and then Chad would do this. Sometimes I would yell, like, woo! And then I would miss a cue coming back in.
At least it was short.
But you hear Chad,
That's what we need.
more crap, he says. He says, yeah, that's what we need, more crap. And I didn't even catch that until I was looking for a part to play as the demo, you know, because we do a little preview. And I have another part queued up here that we're going to listen to. But then I was like, Chad used to do this solo, and it was in here, and I heard him say that. I was like, oh, I got to play that, because that's funny. Because he like cell phones, like, well, that sucked. And then, I don't know, we just kept doing it for a while. But we didn't do the solo in this re-record, because I think we forgot about it until...
Well, that's what we needed was more crap.
Yeah. Not that the solo was crap, but it did.
No,
the
that
song
was
is
funny.
already long enough. It doesn't need one. Before we listen to the redo, let's get another little taste of the original demo. So this song has a very distinct beginning, middle, and end, which you'll hear. You hear that harmonic thing. That was like one of my go-to moves because I didn't know how to solo or anything back then or do anything cooler. So it was like anytime there was a break, there was a bunch of songs that I would like beep, 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 do that stupid harmonic thing. Yeah, some of that carried through. Chad, any memories about this song before we listen to it?
I know it evolved for sure. It stuck around for quite a while, actually.
Yeah. This was one of our very first ones. I have tapes that document through the years, and this one's on most of them.
But it morphed for sure and changed as it went along time. It got a lot tighter, you know.
Yeah. It's kind of a long song, but it does do like 3 acts, and this particular tape demo had a weird little intro that I had done. We used to play these songs like down in my mom's basement or wherever we played them. I would record them on a boombox or whatever. Sometimes we would try other setups, and then I would spend nights just listening to our recordings and like, oh, that one sucked. I'm not going to put it on the tape. Right? Okay. And then this song made it onto this particular tape. But I used to do weird things where I'd have the one tape of the recording, and I'd be like taping onto another tape that's going to be like the master tape. And on this one, I had done this thing where I timed it out to where I fast forward the original tape and then stopped it right when this song came in and started playing, and it was always really cool. I did that in the new redo. I brought that over. I shortened it a little because everything we did back then was like way too long.
We did cut, a lot of these parts and backed them off a little bit because they repeated so much.
Oh, yeah. So when Chad and I were recording this, like we have with the other ones, we kind of we could shorten this,
auditing.
especially the end.
Yeah.
House clean.
Destination. Yeah. So yeah, I think we should listen to this. So this is like I said, the last redo or the last instrumental song we're doing this season, and it's been really fun. And I've got a list of other ones we're going to do. So this is still in collection 1, the very early stuff, and there are 4 more. Plus what we call the show, which includes 3 songs and a bunch of connective material. So 7 more songs just to get through collection 1. So that'll take us definitely through next season if we're going to do this and beyond. But yeah, let's check it out. This is the mix, totally redone, and see what you guys think. Brad, are you familiar with this song at all?
The riff I'm vaguely familiar with, just probably stumbled upon it, and some of those old late night jams we used to do where these things would kind of pop out and I'd be a little lost for a while. But I recognize it, but I couldn't articulate how it went.
Are you excited?
Yes.
Okay.
I've always been a huge fan of all these songs, so I'm excited that you guys are totally redoing them. Because the quality of them has always been off. Like Volume 10's the best, and Wade hates that still.
Well, yeah.
But the songs were always amazing to me.
Brad's referring to Volume 10. That's how I would label the tapes. So this demo we just listened to earlier is from Volume 1.
Yeah.
So like 1996, 97, whatever. Volume 10 was further down. We actually went into a studio, recorded a couple of songs, but it's crap.
One of the regrets I have is I remember Mike was gym aide when I was a freshman.
Okay, Mike was a singer in our first band.
Bro, you got to come out and play with us. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
but I wish I would have, because it would have been awesome.
Mike was the singer on the original song
for sure.
Called Destination.
Destination. Yeah.
Not the singer on this one called Destination.
No, but that was the band, right, that he was referring to.
Yeah, that was our high school band. So went to a get-together last night with some friends that I hadn't seen in a while and mentioned that we were re-recording some of this stuff, and people were excited because a lot of people used to come and see us play, and there hasn't ever been really good quality recordings of these songs. So I'm excited. I'm glad that some people are into it. And let's give this one a listen. All right.
That's all I got.
Chad, because really the only person I want to make sure likes these is Chad. I mean, I want everybody to like them, but I want Chad to be happy with them.
No,
before
and I
we put
am.
them out.
I think you got a good, really thick song. One thing I hope this kind of makes you appreciate a little more, and I think you are, is that some of these real simple riffs that are so basic can actually take a whole nother form once you start learning accents, like you did on this song. When you started in the very beginning with that real basic riff, you know, you started hitting those chords cleaner on the end of it, and it takes a whole nother shape, and it makes you kind of differ the way you accent it, and it really can make it a much more interesting piece, even though it's a simple, you know,
a lot
rhythm.
of these riffs are really simple because I was learning how to play. One of the biggest challenges while doing these songs is adding enough stuff to make it interesting, but not changing it. So I'm adding a bunch of extra guitars and stuff to play around within the mix, to have things coming in here, coming in there, while not adding new parts, just playing like octaves of what's already there,
Harmonies,
or like reinforcing
that
chord,
higher
you know?
part. There was almost like a chromatic that came down.
Yeah.
Or like the beefy guitar in your right ear.
Yeah, they're playing the same thing as the main riff, but I'm playing them in different octaves just to beef things up. So hopefully that's effective. If there's anything where you're like, I think that's too much, let me know, because I don't want to like fundamentally change the songs, but I do want them to be more interesting than just a single guitar playing through the whole thing, you know?
They need an enema anyway.
Yeah. One of my favorite things on this song is your lead in on the drums. I've always really loved that, how the riff starts dun, 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 it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like a big creature coming at you or something down a hill, you know?
That was always fun. That was kind of always the thing that was in probably a lot of our heads when we were playing that in the beginning.
Yeah. Brad, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the song's awesome. Coincidentally, outside of anything that has to do with anything, but like I've been listening to a lot of like Russian circles and things like that, which is in this vein.
They're coming next month.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's cool.
If you want to go.
I like that. Might do that. What I noticed the most is, one, the song's much more enjoyable because it's so much more palatable of a listen, and the production's really good. Like I really like the boomy kick drum. Matt's bass sounds amazing. Like there's this big, thick rhythm section, which is what these songs always kind of needed, because everything was always really tinny sounding, just because you couldn't get those sounds.
Like because we recorded them on a tape. Yeah, but I hope they still capture the energy of like a more raw type
I think
of
they
thing.
do. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
they absolutely do. Like but I think they seem so much more, I would say, well put together. They're like a complete thought instead of an idea, which is what they've been all these years, right? And I've had the pleasure of like listening to the boomy kick drum and the bass in my face,
Right.
so I know how good that can be.
Yeah.
But to capture it on a record is pretty awesome, and I think you did a really good job with that. And I kind of can't wait to listen to all these songs kind of together, in succession.
I'm excited for that too. Like I'm getting excited as we get more of these done to
Yeah.
like be able to put that first collection together and out.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, this was I have a tattoo of like the logo we've used for this band. This was like a huge part of my life.
And it's a huge influence of mine. Like I love this band, and it's what first drew me to you guys. And you say everything's simple, but the creativity that you guys put into this music is pretty awesome. Like you're playing on this song is pretty great.
Oh yeah, Chad's playing on
it's like what's awesome about it too is that you know these things in your sleep, so you don't have to think when you're playing, which makes them so much better.
Right.
You know, like when we record other songs and like there's a lot of thinking and stuff, sometimes you can kind of tell you're trying to capture an idea, right? But this one, it's not even a bother to you. So you just execute, and it's freaking amazing. Like it's really fun to listen to and watch from the sidelines, because it's also, you know, when you're like actively involved in it, you notice everything, and so like you guys probably notice things I don't notice right now when you're listening to that, and it's pretty great from the sidelines. It's you guys did an awesome job.
Yeah, even on those old tape demos, your drum fills.
The playing's always been amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's really great.
You guys took the songs to a point, like you were saying earlier, like everything had to be tape ready, right?
Right.
So like there had to be so much practice that went into those, or playing them live over and over and over and over and over again, kind of like the songs we do now, right? You can just kind of play them in your sleep. It's cool that the sound of it is finally captured well.
Yeah.
But the playing has always been amazing. Yours too, Wade. Like don't cut yourself short. Like
Exactly.
I know you say everything's simple, but we have different kind of styles of playing and writing, and the parts that you play and these parts included are always like, like what's he doing? What's this kid doing? And I do like I like how you churched up the harmonics by panning them.
Okay, cool.
And
Yeah.
alternating the guitars. I think that was really cool.
I've mentioned that a lot in these instrumental episodes, how I have to do a lot of creative panning to make these interesting. So it's not just a guitar in the middle and a bass and drums.
That part would have been significantly less interesting if you didn't do that kind of alternating.
And I was trying to take mental notes because we're at Chad's. We're on this old interface, and these two are listening in stereo, but I have like faux stereo, so it's actually mono.
Yeah, so you didn't catch that shit.
So I was trying to like, I was trying to go through mentally of like, what did I do on this mix so we can talk about it. But yeah, that was one thing. So,
which I really liked. Really liked that part.
And they all fit. Everything you're doing is not taking any integrity away from the songs at all.
Okay.
If anything, they're just making them better.
Good. Yeah, that's the challenge, but it's also like super fun to realize these songs. It's been really fun.
That's producing, right? You're finally getting a chance to actually produce the songs, which sometimes it's adding a part that's complementary.
Yep.
Right? But you're not adding like another lead element or another rhythm element. It's just another complementary part that is a part, you're playing a part of a chord, and that's what you have to do to kind of make things just sound better.
I've been kind of telling myself these songs needed all this time to kind of lay dormant and for us to come back to them now with all the experience that we have. Because, Chad, you and I have talked about this before. Like, we used to play these songs so fast, so hard.
Horrible.
And a lot of them really deserved some dynamics to like that whole middle part to like slow that down and kind of mellow out and give it space to breathe. And I think that we realize that more now.
Oh, yeah.
And just me having all the experience of production and all the stuff we've learned throughout these past couple of years in production doing this podcast, coming to this point where now we're finally revisiting these after decades. And I'm just tell myself like that's just what they needed. They needed to sit and wait until we were ready to do them now.
You could have rushed them out again, and they wouldn't have been fully mature yet, right? You would have.
Though I can guarantee in 10 years, I'll listen to all this stuff and
You'll
be
hate
like, oh man, maybe I should redo it all because we're better now.
Yeah, but that's just how it goes. To document them now is pretty smart.
We're getting old.
Yeah, we're getting old.
We got to get them
Go
before.
like fucking Keith Richards putting
I'm
these
not going to be
together
able to
before
move
too
like
long.
this much longer.
That reminds me
triggers.
of a funny. That reminds me of a funny story. So we were mentioning Chad's drum fills and how they're super badass and how you might not be able to do this forever. We have a group of songs that we've been playing for a couple of years. My plan is to make collection 3 of this project. And we recorded a bunch of them one night over at my house in the studio. This is going to get technical, but I had the clock setting wrong on my interface to the session setting in Pro Tools. So I went back to listen to them and everything. I was listening. I was like, dang, man, Chad is fucking killing it. And like, cause it was like, I opened it up and then it's like just soloed the drums and I was like, man, he is on fire. And it was because it was playing it like a couple ticks faster. And I couldn't figure it out at first. I was like, what was up, man? And then then I turned the rest of the stuff up and I'm like, wow, we're all like really on. And then somebody talked and you could hear we kind of sound like chipmunks and we tried to play to it and I was like, oh, this is all
very fast.
way too fast. Everything's out of tune. It got messed up. But yeah, that was funny because the initial shock was like, holy cow, Chad is ripping it up.
Amanda and I talk about that with every once in a while we'll put on Willie and the Family live.
Okay,
And like all the Willie Nelson songs originally are like slowed down. And then they must have just got all coked up one night and just did this fucking Willie and the Family live. And it is... It's like, oh, man, these guys are kicking.
Yeah. So that reminded me
of that. That was your Chad and the Family live.
Yeah. Let's do a little bus riding.
Let's do that. Probably got some buses involved.
Mainly I just want to play the bus ride and drop because it's cool.
Get in, losers. We're doing bus stuff.
This is also basically pretty technical, so let's just play them both. And we're kind of cheating because I'm not sending the bass track to another bus. I've just got all these plugins right on the bass track. So listeners that might not know, when we go bus riding, we're just kind of running down the processing and plugins that I've used on a particular track. And I don't know that we've touched on the bass. And we're waiting for our bass player right now, so we might as well talk about him a little
Might as
bit.
well.
So Matt came over, laid down the bass. He comes right out of his pedal board that he calls his sound into my interface, which has a nice direct input. It gives a nice signal.
Yeah.
And then I put a bass amp simulator on him, so he can jam like he's listening.
You giving him that Ampeg B13?
So the Ampeg B15.
B15, yeah.
And we recorded through that, and then one of the first things I do when I get into mixing is I go through all the settings, and that's got like, I don't know, 40 different like simulations.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's the Ampeg B15 Portaflex amp, but then you can choose from like different cabinets.
Yeah.
So like a 410 cabinet or a 810 cabinet or a B15, that's the different speakers. So it's kind of arbitrary. I'll just kind of flip through them until one kind of strikes me as like, oh, that fits for the song. This particular one was a 15-inch speaker emulation with it's called 563. That's a emulation of a large diaphragm tube condenser mic by Neumann Geffel. So I go through, I find that one. I was like, that sounds good. Then I did a little EQ with my Eosis Air EQ Boost 80 hertz and 860 hertz. Cut a little of 396, which is that kind of muddy, muffled stuff, and a little 192, just to the same. There's like some frequencies that were just kind of not working, so cut those out a little bit. Smooth things out a little bit. Next plugin is an 1176 compressor emulation with a slow attack, fast release. That just helps the bass be a little more punchy. Mm-hmm. Kind of really work with that kick drum, because you said it's really booming.
Oh, dude, it's booming, and yeah, it's tight, too.
An 1176, even with the slow attack, is still a pretty quick compressor. But if you set the attack slow enough, it'll allow the initial attack of like the bass, boom, and then it'll clamp down and tighten it up. So you get a nice,
Accent,
punchy,
quick, punchy accent note.
to really work with the kick
Especially
drum.
for like a driving, like a...
Yeah. And then the next plugin is a VL2A compressor, which this is also the same chain I've been using on vocals with an 1176 to like catch the really outlying peaks throughout a track. I'll do it with vocals, and I've been doing it with bass. So like the stuff that's standing out a little too much, I'll clamp down on that with the 1176, which is like a super ubiquitous compressor. If I showed you guys a picture, you would probably recognize it just from seeing pictures of studios and stuff. And then the VL2A is an emulation of an LA2A compressor, also like super famous, especially for vocals. But I've been using it on bass too. It's a little slower, so all the stuff that first compressor doesn't catch, and it's just catching the really high peaks of the track, the second compressor will kind of overall like just kind of snug everything up, so the bass is nice and tight and sitting in a pocket, because you don't really want the bass swirling around in the mix. You kind of want that, front and center and very consistent and punchy pretty much throughout, working with that kick drum and just really shoring up the low end of the track. And then I put distortion on the bass a lot. Yeah. That's a trick I use a lot.
Get it to really
just poke through.
Get there, yeah.
This is the plugin I use almost all the time for bass distortion. It's the Sound Toys Decapitator. It's easy to use. I know I can put it on there. There's like 4 different buttons you can choose from, which are different distortions.
It's not going to be too much.
No, just get one until it sounds good, and that thing's pretty great.
Bass sounded really good in the song, which the bass can be, pretty tricky.
Yeah, it can get lost easily, or it can take over easily.
Yeah.
And Matt, like I said, his sound, quote unquote sound, which is coming from his pedal board, he does have stuff
EQ
dialed in on there. He's got like a bunch of pedals on there, EQ. He's got a compressor on there. So it's already getting processed there. And I'm not doing like really heavy handed stuff. I just want it to really sit nicely and work with that kick drum. So that's the bass track there. That's been bus riding and technical.
But technically bus riding.
Yeah. So that's it. That's this last.
No, that was a good job, man.
Yeah,
That was really. I'm excited that
good.
you guys are getting those together, man. It's cool.
Yep, I've got the list of the next ones to attack, and we will be doing that during the break here. So next season, I have more for you. I would like to get this collection 1 done, if not next year, shortly thereafter. I mean, we can probably knock them out, but I don't want to burn us out on them. I want to have fun with them and, just take our time and do them right.
Without using the click track, the recording process on those has been pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, some of these we have to completely relearn how to play. But once we got them, it's like, these take me like a half an hour to do the guitars on because it's like I just know 'em.
muscle memory.
Yeah, and same with Chad. Like he comes over, we knock him out. This is like one take for him. I mean, I'm sure we did a couple takes.
Yeah.
But
It's one through take.
But yeah, this isn't
Yeah.
one that I like took this part of one take and that part of another. I just have to listen more carefully when I'm editing. Like, oh, we're a little off here, and I just kind of nudge it where it needs to be. And like you had said, there's things in here I can hear, but anytime you play a song, there's things, that are not perfect.
Yeah,
and that's
you
how
gotta
it
let
should
that
be.
happen sometimes.
Yeah, and you're a big proponent for
I
that.
am a big proponent of that, especially with stuff that has grit,
Yeah,
like this stuff.
And like I said, I want to maintain the rawness and the energy that they had, but I want them to sound good with the skills that we have now.
That's how you
So,
do that. That's how you keep that rawness, by letting it spill a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. So
It's
cool.
good shit. I like it.
So yeah, we'll hit
I like
more
the
of these.
project. It's cool.
I do too. I'm excited to get them out there.
There's that bass player right there.
All right, well, that means we got to get out of here because he's coming in. You can check this song out on our website. We're not releasing them yet until they all get done as Collection 1, but you can listen to all of them on our website, belongingsongs.com, where you can also get a hold of us on the forums page, or you can send us an email, bs@belongingsongs.com. Check out all the stuff there. What else do we say at the end of an episode? Not much. Nobody really cares. So, I do want to say thank you for listening. And we've got one more song next week coming at you. Last song of the season. And then the following week is our big year-in review. So please check that out. Tell all your friends. Tell your grandma. Tell...
Your sister.
Tell...
Your daddy?
Okay, that's good. It got weird.
Tell your bass players.
That's how the song goes, though.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
That's good. Boom, done. Next.